If you're thinking about RVing full-time, there's a lot of things to consider. There's a lot of good points and some bad points also. In this video, we want to go over some of the pros and cons that we've noticed since we've been on the road. We figured this was a really good time for us to do this video. We've been on the road long enough, about 6 months, that we're starting to notice some trends, some good points, some bad points of living on the road full time. But we haven't been away from our old sticks and bricks too long that we forgot what it was like to live in a sticks and bricks house. We really figured this was a good time for us to do this video. Now before we get started on our pros and cons list, if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe now. Make sure you hit the like button and ring that little bell so you get notified when our next video comes up. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started on our first con. This is kind of a simple one. We're going to start these lists out pretty easy.
Oh boy.
I call this con the circle of life. Do you remember being a little kid when you had I don't know, I did anyways, I don't think Dina did.
No.
Playing with your poop? Or had somebody pick up your poop after you? Well, circle of life, you're going to be doing it again on the road. So this is one of the big cons, I guess, of full-time RV, or even just RVing in general. You have to pick up after yourself. If you remember, in a sticks and bricks or a normal house, you go to the restroom, you flush a toilet, and you're done with everything. When you're on the road, when you're in an RV, that's only half of it. The other half is everything goes into a holding tank. You do have to clean it out. You have to deal with the hoses, clean your holding tanks, and deal with the smells too. So that's probably a con for me. And you don't deal with the hoses that much.
No,
or at all.
I couldn't do it.
You get some of my smells though.
Oh gosh, don't remind me. They don't need to know that.
Now, kind of on the same subject, we'll do our first pro. This is the first pro about living in an RV full time. You get to walk around in your pajamas carrying dog poop.
No, you don't do that.
Yeah.
I do that.
It's actually,
He goes down picking up dog poop.
It's actually kind of funny though. It's nothing to see people early in the morning walking around the campground in their pajamas, walking their dogs, having conversations with a bag of poop in their hand. Where else can you do that? They're not going to throw you into a mental hospital or something. So, it's kind of funny. I know it's kind of humorous, but it's kind of funny.
Some people might find it humorous.
Yeah, well, I do. So.
I know you do.
So that's a pro. I mean, it's very relaxing and family friendly in a lot of campgrounds, and it's just enjoyable. And a lot of dog friendly or pet friendly people in campgrounds.
Yes, definitely a lot.
So now we'll go back to a con. This is more with campgrounds in general, and I list it as RV parks not living up to their photos. And what we mean by this is when we plan our trips, and we did a video on this actually. If we did a trip planning video, if you want to watch that, we'll put a link up above so you can watch that as well. But when we plan our trips, we always try to research the RV parks as much as possible. We look at photos, reviews, and everything. A lot of the websites though, they tend to highlight the best features of an RV park, and sometimes they really just don't live up to the photos or
photos can be very deceiving. A lot of places look a lot nicer when you're looking online at photos than they are in real life, and we've been surprised a few times.
Yeah, so we've been to a few campgrounds that you look at the photos and you're all excited to get there, and once you get there you realize it's just not up to what you were hoping it would be.
Right.
So there has been some disappointments with that as well. Going back to pros, this is another pro. And this was that kind of an added benefit that we didn't even think about when we thought about researching full-time RVing. We get to see how others live. We get to see the small towns in between destinations. And what I mean by this is, if we're going to our next destination, we usually travel up to 300 miles a day. Within that 300 miles, we see a lot of stuff, and it's really an adventure in itself. We're from Florida, so for us, you know, those 300 miles may be going through mountains.
Yeah.
It may be going, I remember going through Kansas and seeing cornfields as far as
you could see.
I'd never seen anything like that before. Some big, huge cattle ranches, some farms. It was
beautiful.
all,
Yeah.
Oh.
And
The old barns.
yes. And the mountains. I mean, just the mountains.
Yeah.
We're from Florida.
Yeah. Yeah. So for us, a mountain is either an overpass or a landfill. So
It's true.
They have some real mountains out here. So again, those travel days, roughly 300 miles, it's exciting. They're adventures. If we do stop in a small town for lunch, maybe along the way, it's just another adventure, something else for us to see. So that's kind of enjoyable for us.
Yeah.
Going back to a con now, travel days. Now this we could put in either category. Travel days in general are kind of exciting because you're going to a new place. But I'm going to list this as travel day, packing, and tear down. So this will be a con. And this is more, every time you travel to a new destination, you have to tear your whole house back down, getting it ready to move. All of our decorations. It's Christmas time right now, so Dina has a lot of Christmas decorations up. Pictures on the wall, my office, everything has to be torn down, packed away safely, and ready for us to move.
Right.
So it takes time. You have to plan it.
Yep.
Sometimes you have to plan around it. Like if you wanted to go out for dinner, you might not be able to until you get some of your packing done. So that's a con. Again, these aren't huge ordeals, but again, it's just something to think about, something to be aware of.
Yes.
Pros. What do we have next? Pros. We have. This kind of goes back to what I said earlier on travel days. When we get to see in between destinations. But when we're at a new destination, we get to see all the local events, the local venues, local restaurants, shops. Yeah. We really enjoy that, and actually we enjoy that a lot more than we expected. We were I believe in Missouri at some point. We were there for Oktoberfest.
We didn't even know about it. A neighbor asked if we were going to the festival that they were having. Yeah,
and that was a lot of fun.
We were like, okay, well, why not? And then we ended up going right across the street to a
local microbrewery.
Right.
So it was fun. It was
really fun.
It was fun to enjoy the local stuff. Like we really try to stay away from franchise restaurants when we're on the road. We always like the little mom and pop restaurants and
to try something different. Yep. We have our favorite franchises at home, but while we're traveling, try to do something different.
So again, local venues, local restaurants, that's definitely a pro. And we really enjoy that.
Yeah.
Going back to a con. This is kind of an important part of this for us. Cell coverage and TV or TV streaming. If you may or may not know, I work full-time during the week, so I have to have cell coverage. That's very important to us. But we still need cell coverage for internet. If we want to stream Netflix or Amazon Prime, something like that. We of course we need the cell coverage. Now we don't have Dish. We're not huge TV junkies.
We do have some of our favorite shows that we like to watch.
Yeah, and that's hard sometimes on the road if we don't have, if we're not at a place that has a cable. Or just we're only watching over-the-air channels. We may not be able to get some of our favorite shows that are cable-only type shows. So. TV in general, it's a little bit of I won't say a hassle, but it's going to be very hard if you want to go week to week watching a series or something.
Darn it, Yellowstone.
Yeah.
The show.
Yeah. We'll go back to a pro now. Oh, you may want to take this one. House chores take less time.
Yeah. It's so true. Back home in South Florida at our Sticks and Bricks, we both work more than 40 hours a week, so we barely see each other during the week. So when we did have a weekend together, it was always doing chores, and there was a lot of them. There's always cutting the grass, doing any outside.
The pool, take care of the pool.
The pool,
gardening,
the grass, the gardening.
Inside.
And then inside cleaning, and then laundry, and, groceries.
So, so by downsizing, by living in an RV now, all that gets reduced.
Yeah.
So our daily chores or weekly chores around the RV are much less, and it does allow us to do more. So instead of spending 3/4 of a day on the sticks and bricks, doing cutting grass and taking care of the pool, we spend maybe an hour in the RV, and it gives us the rest of the day to go enjoy ourselves and do something else.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a pro for that goes. We'll go back to a con now. And this one, it's very important, so it's definitely something to be aware of, but it's doable and you can work with it. Doctor visits and vet visits. So when you're in a sticks and bricks, you have your favorite doctor, your primary doctor, and you can make appointments, everything, scheduled, everything's nice and easy. When you're on the road, it's not that simple, especially if you need to get in to see a doctor, maybe so you can get a medicine or something renewed, yearly prescription, something like that. You can't just pick a doctor and I want to go to this doctor. You're usually in
you have to be established.
Yeah. And
they want you to be established.
Yeah. But you're usually in a location for 1 or 2 weeks, at least for us. Mm-hmm. So you're really kind of limited to whoever may have a cancellation within that 1 or 2 weeks, or just has availability in that 1 or 2 weeks. So you can't really set up a personal relationship with the doctor. It's probably going to be a one-time thing, maybe see them twice and you're going to move on. So doctor visits, same with vets.
Same with vets.
Everything.
A good example of that is today I have to take Rodeo to a 6 o'clock vet appointment for something that she has going on with her eye. Now, I could, if I was an established patient, or Rodeo was an established patient with this doctor, we could have just done a visual appointment so he could see what's going on and probably called in an antibiotic. Because we've never been to this particular doctor, he requires her to come in. So it is what it is, but hopefully Rodeo will be okay.
Yeah. So again, doctor visits, vet appointments and visits, you have to kind of plan ahead and just be aware of that. We'll go back to a pro again. This is something that we really enjoy. Traveling, making your travel plans based on weather and the seasons. Now, we lived in Florida. We had a sticks and bricks, so we only had 3 seasons. We had going into summer, and coming out of summer. Now we get to see all 4 seasons, and we can plan our travel on the weather. We can try to be, or I should say, let's try not to be in South Florida in August. Maybe in August we want to be up in the Northwest or the Northeast, something like that. So we can plan our trips around weather and around the 4 seasons. If we want to see the leaves change, maybe we'll plan on being up in Tennessee or something like that, up in the Northeast to watch the leaves change. So that's a really nice pro for us. We lived in Florida our whole lives, so we've never really experienced all 4 seasons, watching the leaves change and some of that stuff. So that's definitely a pro for us. Going back to a con, this is also kind of important. It's kind of similar to the doctor visits, but mail, online orders, and medications. And what we mean by this, when you're in a sticks and bricks, how do you get your mail, right? You probably walk down the driveway, open up your mailbox, and get your mail. You order something on Amazon, you have it shipped straight to your house. Your meds, you probably have a local pharmacy right down the road. You have your meds, you pick them up there. When you're on the road, it's not quite that easy. We have a mailbox back in Florida as our permanent residence or permanent domicile. So all of our mail goes to Florida. Then what we have to do a little bit of scheduling, a little bit of planning. And usually what we do is we'll wait until we get enough mail that's worth our while or something important that we have to have.
Right.
And now this is where the planning comes in. We have to, when we go to a new location, we make sure we're allowed to get mail there. And we usually have our mail shipped the day before we actually arrive. We'll set it up for the scheduling. Again, and we're also usually in a place for 2 weeks. So this gives our mail 2 weeks to get to that location.
Yeah.
The last thing we want to do is have it go somewhere that we're not. And same with online order. Online orders is really easy. You're still ordering online, but you have to make sure it's going to get to where you're currently at. We have, like with Amazon Prime, we have a lot of addresses. So every 2 weeks, basically, if we're going to order something, we have to update our address for Amazon. So it's very easy to do. But if you forget about it, you're gonna run into hassles.
And that reminds me too, is don't just assume that the RV park that you are going to be staying at will let your mail be forwarded or packages be sent. Call ahead and confirm before you commit to any address.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, one of the last places we were just at just a couple weeks ago, luckily we checked, but they don't allow mail. It's not really the RV's fault. I believe they said it was the post office won't go into the RV park. UPS and FedEx would, but the post office wouldn't.
Right.
So just double check before you have your mail shipped.
Sure.
And again, with that, same with medications. Now, if you're going to get a refill, you may have to find a local pharmacy in the area you're at and have them pull.
Yeah, so I have, like, for me, instance, I have different medications that are prescribed at Walgreens, and some that are prescribed at CVS.
Yeah.
So if I'm in St. Louis and I already got that medicine, and then they email me or text me that I am due for a refill and that it's ready to be picked up, I can go to a different Walgreens where I'm currently at and ask them to pull it. A lot of times I'll go ahead and call and ask them to do it that way, because when you go there, they can't just do it right then. It's like a day, at least a day's long process for them to do it the way it needs to be done. So it's not a big deal, but it's something to keep in mind.
Again, none of these things are difficult. They're all easy. You just need to be aware of it and plan ahead. That's really, a lot of this is just planning ahead.
Yeah, just making you aware of what's what.
Okay, now we'll go back to a pro. This is kind of a nice one. Making new friends. We've been on the road now for right at 6 months, and it's nothing to go to. Probably every campground we've been to, we've made new friends. And of course, it's like anything else. Some are closer than others. Some we stay in touch with.
Yeah.
Some of the hosts, some of the harvest hosts we stayed at, I think we'll always be friends with them. Mm-hmm. It's just it's nice, right? Mm-hmm. It's nice with all the stuff going on in the world today that you can kind of come to a campground, meet people, meet normal people. You don't have to be afraid too much of what you say. It's just enjoyable and I guess relaxing.
Yeah, I think it restores your faith.
Yeah.
That there still are good people out there. Yeah, with everything going on, like you said.
Okay, now we're going to go back to a con. Scheduling and last minute changes. And this is a big one. Again, we always try to schedule our trips. We try to book at least 6 months in advance for our campgrounds. But you always have to be ready for last minute changes. It could be something weather related. It could be an RV maintenance issue. It could be somebody sick and can't travel. There's a lot of things that can happen when you're on the road living like this, that you can't just keep that normal 9 to 5 schedule. Everything's perfect every single day. Things are going to change. You have to be able to adjust. You have to be able to make last minute updates, last minute changes, schedules, and don't let it get to you. It's part of the nature of the beast.
Yeah,
right?
It is.
So just be aware of it. If you're still thinking about if you want to do this full time or not. Again, none of these things are showstoppers.
Right.
They're just things to be aware of and plan for, and you'll be good to go.
Just be aware.
Let's go back to a pro now. You want to do this one? Number 7?
The feeling of freedom.
Yeah.
So, moving on. Feeling of freedom.
This is really kind of one of the reasons why we wanted to get on the road.
It's exactly what it says. Feeling of freedom.
If you ever watch our intro video, one of the things that we said was, and it's just so true, we felt like we were stuck. We were in that same routine. Yeah. You know, we both worked at least 40 hours a week. Weekends was doing house chores and things around the house. Mm-hmm. We just felt anchored down maybe or stuck.
But we felt like we weren't living.
Yeah, we weren't
We always tell our kids, live life to the fullest. And we started thinking about it and we're like, we're preaching it, but we're not teaching it.
So feeling of freedom, that's exactly what this is really. We're free to go anywhere we want, whenever we want, as long as the weather's good and we're not sick and the RV's not broken. But we're not tied down to one specific spot. If we want to go to Montana next year to watch the the elk and rut, we can go to Montana next year and watch the elk and rut. If we want to go to Bar Harbor, Maine, we can go to Bar Harbor, Maine. It's up to us. We have the freedom.
You don't have to wait for a vacation and only have a week or two to spend. Pretty much spent.
We can stay there as long as we want. So this is really for us one of the big reasons for doing what we're doing, and we really, and it's true. It's all that it's cracked up to be. It really is.
Yes, so worth it.
Now, part of that freedom, we're going to go back to a con now. In order to get there, you have to downsize. This was tough. It's probably tougher on Dina than it was for me. We had to get rid of, and if you're not aware, we did sell our home. We have some stuff in storage. A 10 by 10 storage has everything we have in it. Again, these are mementos, family things and stuff like that. Pictures, photos, things you can't get rid of. Well, that's in storage. Everything else is gone. Everything else we own is in this RV right now. And this was tough. This was, it probably took us a couple years to get down to where we needed to be. We slowly got rid of things or sold things. This is something you're going to have to think very hard about. I got rid of all my hobbies, which still hurts.
All of them.
Yeah, all of them.
When he says all, it's not just one or two. We're talking, what, 4 or 5? Yeah, right.
So, again, I had to get rid of my hobby stuff. Dina had to make some really tough decisions on household decor and things like that. Things that you really love. That may look beautiful in your house. You can't use it in an RV, and it really doesn't make sense to store it. So that's very tough. That's a definite con. Downsizing is something you're going to have to think about.
Right.
Going back to a pro, this kind of goes with the one before it, the feeling of freedom. We listed this as adventures.
Yeah.
We've been doing this about 6 months now. Some of the adventures we've been on already we'll never forget, right?
Oh, never.
We've been, we just did a video on Arches National Park. Some of the hikes in there we did was just, we'll never forget. We actually want to try to get some of our family out here to do those with them. We're going to have another video coming up on Zion. Hint, hint, there's some pretty awesome hikes in Zion too. So we're getting to do some of these adventures and see things that we never would have had. We
won't live long enough to see and do all these things that we're already doing.
Yeah.
And only 6 months time.
Yeah. And we're serious when we say living life to the fullest. That's really what we're trying to do. Now, we'll never be able to succeed in everything, but we love life. We want to go do and see as much as possible. So definite pro is the adventures and the experiences we get to do. Going back to a con, I'll let you do this one because it has the word shopping in it.
Oh, thank you. Okay, limited space and limited shopping. So if you are like me, I had an office job, so I had nice clothes, very nice clothes, a lot of nice clothes and shoes and purses and wallet to go along with all that stuff. And also, like Danny said, home decor stuff, I love decorating. And what I would do a lot of times was I would hand something down that I had had for a while, hand something down or give it away to a friend, or sell it on Facebook Marketplace in order to get something new in its place. You will find downsizing to an RV, if you don't have enough room, you just don't have enough room.
Yeah. And
so it was like a lot of getting rid of a lot of stuff.
And
it also felt good.
That's the thing that I forgot all about.
I always thought it really, in a way, in a strange way. I didn't see it until I actually started selling some things or donating things or giving things away. It was free. You kind of felt free. It kind of felt freeing. And you realize you don't need all this stuff as much as you think you do.
Now that you brought that up, that's so true. I do remember when we were downsizing, I was doing a lot of stuff in the garage, some old tools I didn't use anymore, just some stuff I don't, you buy. We've been in our house for over 20 years, so There's a lot of stuff in there. And the more and more stuff we got rid of, sold, or gave away, or something like that, it's like a weight lifted off your shoulder. It's really true.
It's true. It is true.
It was amazing.
And also, the other side of it is, you know, you look at it like you've enjoyed this stuff for a while.
Let somebody else.
Yeah, let's pass it on.
Yeah.
And pay it forward, you know.
And you know what? Honestly, I don't miss 90% of the stuff. I don't miss. There's still a few things I wish I
other than family that are still in Florida, but
not talking about,
things,
objects,
items,
most of it
for sure.
You don't even think about. Okay, so that was limited shopping. So this was another nice pro, and it's spending more time together.
Yeah.
Right? That's great for you, right?
Kind of.
One of us thinks it's a pro, and the other one thinks it's a con. I'll let you decide who you think is who. But no, this was kind of another added bonus, right? I mean, again, going back to our old lifestyle, we both worked over at least 40 hours a week, so you don't see each other during the week. I was lucky enough to work from home, but you know, Dina would come home from work in the evenings. We'd have dinner, watch a little bit of TV, and that was it. And now she gets to enjoy my company all day long.
Oh, how lucky am I? Somebody remind me.
Oh yeah, and I get to enjoy her company all day long too.
Of course, honey.
But seriously though, it's been another added bonus. So I'm glad we got to. It's working out. Con. This is this we saved this one for last, and this is probably one of the toughest if you can't think what it is already.
Yeah.
Missing family. Church and our friends.
Yeah.
So starting with friends, we have a lot of friends back home in Florida. We still keep in touch.
Yeah.
Over the phone, but it's not the same as maybe going out and having lunch with a friend or dinner or something like that. So that's very tough.
Or getting together for a sleepover, even going
sleepover.
Well, I mean with mom and dad.
Oh yeah.
I'm
talking about friends right now.
Oh no.
You're starting to sound a little kinky. Okay, let's get off of that. Now we'll go to church.
Please, let's go to church. Move on to church.
The other thing that we really miss is church and our church family. We had a great church we went to. Now we do still try to go to church, but it's really difficult on the road. Lots of times we travel on Saturday. Well, we do always travel on a Saturday or a Sunday. So when we're traveling on a Sunday, it's just almost impossible to go to church. We may put on some Christian music on the radio, but
or watch it on TV.
Yeah, but that's about the best we can do. Now, really, the hardest thing of all this is immediate family. Dina's parents are both gone. My parents lived about 2 hours from our old home. So we did try to get together as much as possible, especially now around the holidays, Christmas coming up. We tried to spend as much time with family. Our daughter, our son-in-law, and our grandkids, they were 45 minutes from our house. So we were trying
50 minutes.
Door
to door, 50 minutes.
Not that she knew that or anything. So we did try to spend as much time with family as we could. Again, on the road, it's not possible. So that's definitely one of the biggest drawbacks, I guess, of living life on the road.
Yeah, definitely the biggest.
So some of the biggest pros for us, seeing out-of-state family away from us, our freedom and our adventures, those are all, just that alone is definitely worth it. Some of the biggest cons, like we just said, missing family, missing church and friends. That is very tough, and of course the downsides and getting rid of a lot of stuff, that was pretty tough as well. Hopefully this gives you some idea what it's like to live on the road. Some of the things we found are really fun. Some of the things we found are maybe a little bit of a struggle or something you have to work through.
But yeah, it's nothing that can't be worked through.
Yeah, definitely.
If you want it bad enough, what do you always say?
If you want it bad enough, you'll find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse.
That's right.
We found a way.
And we're loving it.
Oh, definitely. So if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please subscribe now. We need all the subscribers we can get. Make sure you hit the like button and the notification button so you get notified when our next video comes out.
And also, if you have any pros and cons that maybe weren't the same on our list, please comment below and let us know. Let others know. love to hear.
Yeah, you may
from
have some
you.
pros and cons that we didn't mention. I'd love to
Right.
hear what your thoughts are on that as well. So
Or if you have any comments in general, please let us know and we'll respond as soon as we can.
But remember, always live life to the fullest.